Hello, friends. Welcome. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Hopefully, several of you started out your morning checking out the Instagram hop with Pear Blossom Press and Whimsy Stamps. It's going on right now, and there's so many wonderful ideas over there on Instagram that if you like light up cards, you're definitely going to want to check that out. So today's card that we're going to make in this video is my Twinkle Light card. It is a collaboration between Whimsy Stamps and Pear Blossom Press. So I'm going to show you. I can't wait to show you how it works. I've got the little button here on my oven that says press here, and woohoo, it starts twinkling and lighting up. Isn't that fun? So there are so many great ideas of how to incorporate twinkle lights into your cards, or there's other kinds of lights as well that Pear Blossom Press carries, so you can definitely check that out. So let's take a look at the products that I used to make this card. We've got the stamp set that's called Just Roll With It. Has so many fun sayings. I did use the pierced circles. I haven't used this yet, but it's got the word twinkle in here, and I was thinking of my greeting for the inside to incorporate the word twinkle since I used the twinkle lights. I also have the double oven slimline die, and then this one is a outline die set. Let's see, I want to get the name, Make-A-Wish outline dies, and I love this because you can make this fun kind of I don't know, just whimsical birthday cake, but it also has all the balloon number outline and these great candles. So there's just a lot you can do, even though it's an outline die set and there's no longer any kind of stamps available. This is a really fun die set to have on hand. So that is the Whimsy Stamps products that I used today, and I'm going to set those aside. But I also used some great products from Pear Blossom Press. So this is a 2-pack of the Twinkle Lights, where you can now purchase these on the Whimsy Stamps website if you're interested in these. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make a twinkle card or a Twinkle Light card using these. Hello, Shauna and Bonnie. It's great to see you. All right, so it comes with 2 in a pack, and we're going to use that. There is also this great stamp set that Pear Blossom Press carries that gives you the blow, press here, press, push, pull, scratch up. You know, it gives you those kinds of directions so people know how to make the card react. So we're going to use the press here, and I also use this fun little like twinkle image that I'll show you. They also carry these fun little gems that make your candle flame. So you can see the difference where the light by itself and how much bigger the light looks when it has these kind of gems over the top to make it. And one of my favorite things from Pear Blossom Press is the best ever foam tape for crafters. It's nice and thick, and it is perfect for making light up cards. All right. So that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to set this stuff aside, set this aside. Now, most of my tutorial today, a lot of it's going to be about using and how to use the twinkle lights. So some of the other card making part I've gone ahead and done in advance. So I went ahead and put my slimline oven die together, and you can see I just made all the pieces and glued it together into one flat piece. And we'll be doing some things to it, but I did do all that in advance, but nothing fancy. I just cut a piece of the slimline paper to go behind my oven so that I'd have these fun bubbles that matched my papers that I chose. And then these 2 papers, this one is 3 3/4 by 8 3/4, and that's just for my background. And then I cut a slightly lighter piece just to be some layering going on, but that's just to add interest there. So I'll go ahead and layer these up. And these will be our base. There we go. All right, set this aside. We won't use that until the end. And then here are some of my other smaller pieces. Now on my original, I did stamp right on my slimline paper and heat emboss this, but I didn't have any of that paper left, and the paper that I had a lot more bubbles on it, and I was afraid the words might get a little lost. So I went ahead and I heat embossed that on a piece of kind of peachy colored vellum, and then I cut a circle, and I'm going to add my vellum on top, and I'm going to add that right in here as if it's kind of like a bigger bubble maybe, or just I just liked that. I thought it would show up a little better. So tried that. Now this is vellum, so I'm going to try to hide my glue right on top. I'm just going to put little dots of glue right where my letters are. And hopefully I don't get any oozing where you can see it. But just lightly putting just a few dots right where my words are. I think that ought to do it. Well, maybe right over here we need one. All right, now we're just going to add that right on top of the circle. I think with the bright lights on the card, nobody's going to be inspecting the sentiment so much that they're going to see if there's any overflow. But I did just tiny little dots, so that seemed to work pretty good. I hope everyone's having a great summer. I know I have been super busy this summer, and it's very nice to see some of you with me. So, okay, we're going to start with our birthday cake. And let's see. Okay, so these two little pieces I stamped. I should have two. There it is. Okay, I stamped these using from the Pear Blossom Press set, and then die cut them out. And I went ahead and heat embossed those in the same color. So we're going to use those. I'm going to set them aside right here. Then I used a small paper punch just to get a little circle that my words press here would fit into. So we don't want to lose those. I went ahead and die cut those. I went ahead and stamped and colored up my image from the Just Roll With It. And normally this has a little kitty cat right beside it, and I just trimmed that off when I cut this out. And I gave it a nice white outline on the top, but along the bottom here I cut it straight because we want him to be, or her, to be sitting right on this counter. So, and I did add a piece of foam tape behind her. Now here are all my pieces for the birthday cake, and it has a little candle. So we're going to go ahead and put this together. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper. I'm going to add just a little bit of brown distress ink here on my cake, just around the edges to give that a fun chocolate cake look. A lot of this will be covered up by icing, but the part that does show, I want it to look like a nice baked cake. Okay. Now we're just going to glue on our layers. I'm going to start with the bottom icing. They do kind of layer over the top of each other, so I think I'd rather the top layers be on top of the bottom layers instead of the other way around. And that just lines up right there with the shape of the die. Go. And I did cut out the icing out of some pink glitter paper that I had that kind of had a little bit of that peachy color that matched my background. All right, looks good enough to eat, doesn't it? Okay, so now let's just add our candle. Having so much trouble picking things up. I cut my nails too short, I think, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right down there at the bottom. And I want that to be right here, right in the center. All right. Now for the fun, we're going to add some lights. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add a little bit of foam to the back of our cake. And I'm going to avoid putting it all the way down to the bottom because we're going to have this sitting on top of our counter. So there we go. All right, so we have all of our pieces. And the next thing we need to do, I'm going to go ahead and slide these out of the way. You want to take your piece that's going to have the lights behind it and set everything. We have one more thing to do, I'm sorry. Okay, you're going to make this design, I had to separate the cabinet from the ovens. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer and we're just going to trim just right above the cabinet doors. There we go. So we want that in 2 pieces, and our oven part, I'm sorry, the oven part we're not going to put foam on, but for our countertop, I'm going to put foam on the back of that. So that's going to be raised up so that our cake and our little cook here can be raised up a bit. Okay, so that's going to go like that, but on this part, we need to decide where we want our cake. So that's going to be about right here. And this one is going to set right on top. Okay. And then we're going to set our little baker right here beside it. So we're just kind of laying everything out because we need to mark where we want our lights to be. So one of them, grab my pin, and I'm just going to put a little dot right above my candle. Now my 2 little pieces like this, I want one up here, and then I'm going to put one right down here. Okay, so I need to, I can get that out of the way. We're going to add a little dot right there. And a little dot right there. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move these pieces out of the way. And in all of these places where I've added the dots, we're going to take an awl and we're just going to go ahead and poke a hole right there where I put the dots. And it's as easy as that. Okay. Now, let's get our light kit out. And I'll show you what that looks like. You need to get the batteries as well. Okay, come on out of there. Alright, so we're just going to pop the battery out. It's got a little perforation there that makes it nice and easy. Well, there we go. Alright, now before we glue anything down, we're going to add the battery. And once you get your battery in there, you want to test it and make sure your lights are lighting up. And they are. So we've got the battery in there correctly. And the next thing we want to do is decide where we want our press here button. So I'm going to put my 2 buttons right up here. So let's go ahead and stamp that with the press here so that we can glue that down because we want to get that in just the right spot. There we go. Got the little word press here. And on one of my little circles here, we're just going to stamp that. There we go. Not much with ink today, that's all we've got. So I'm going to add these 2 little circles right up here, and one of them says press here. These are just our little oven knobs. All right, so this little button right here needs to line up with our press here right here. So I'm going to add that just right here. And the best way to add this is using double, let me grab I bought this new contraption where it holds my double-sided adhesive. So I'm just going to pull out a piece of double-sided adhesive here. And I'm going to lay that right here. Pull that up. And now, making sure that I have that right, I'm putting my finger on it so that I can feel, oops, there we go, that is right where I need it to be. All right, so let's put it down. I'm going to press here, and you can kind of see them lighten up down there. Okay, so now all these little holes, we're going to take these 3 little lights, and we're going to line them up with the holes, and we're going to use the double-sided adhesive to do that. And let's see, I think I'm going to use a little bit smaller one. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to take one at a time, and you're going to put the little light right over the hole. Let me hold that up so you can see it. All right, so you don't want it to be down below the hole like that. Like, you want that little light to literally be right where you poke that hole. Okay, so I'm going to rip this into a smaller piece here, but I'm going to line that back up right there, and then add my double-sided adhesive to hold that where I want it, okay? And we're going to do this with all of the lights. So the next one is right here. And put that right, this is the one, that's going to be my candle, and I think I want my hole to be just a tad bigger. There we go. Okay. Line it right up with the hole, and then hold it in place with your double-sided adhesive. Super easy. Okay, the last one is right down here. Line that up. And all these other wires that you've got, like these coils of wires, you're just going to put those down so that it stays behind your image. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more tape. I'm going to use that just to kind of hold down this wire so it doesn't escape. So it doesn't like peek out or anything. That ought to be enough. All right, so now let's give it a try here. All right, you see how it's blinking right where I put all the little holes? All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our thick foam and line up or cover this with our foam. Okay. And I don't put foam on top of your, sorry, I got some goo on my scissors and it's keeping it from sticking. But you don't want to put foam on top of your lights. Just leave your lights clear. Let me grab these other scissors. That one's got some gunk on it. There we go. Alright, so you can see I'm avoiding where my lights are, but I'm making sure my other light is right here, so I'm going to put it right next to that. Alright, just like that. Now on this, I am going to go ahead and add another piece of foam because we need this piece to be higher than that piece, so I'm going to add that to be double thick on that. It just started thundering here. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it is really thundering. We've had some rough weather here lately. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to set this one aside. I keep getting confused looking at it. All right, so now it's just time to put it all together. So I'm going to go ahead, put this down. Yep, that's working great. We're going to add our bottom down here. Before we glue anything down, I'm just going to set it all out and make sure we're good. Our candle to be right there. Our little cook. Alright, so I think it is time. I'm going to go ahead and put these in their spot. And the way I'm going to add these, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue just right around the hole that I made. And then I'm going to glue this right on top. And I'm going to take my pen here and I'm just going to poke a little hole so that that light can shine through. It does shine through anyway, but that just, I did that on the last one as well. Put that right down, and, whoops, pulled it off. When my pen went through, I could tell it popped the little light out, so I'm just putting that back in there, make sure they're all in place. All right, always test as you go along to make sure that you got it all lined up. That one lined up right. Okay, this one is just a little off. There we go. Okay. That one keeps wanting to pop out of the hole. There we go. You just have to kind of fiddle with it. Make sure all your little lights are right up at the hole. And you can see the light, like which side is lighter than the wire. So that you'll be able to tell when you're up close and looking at it. So we're going to go ahead and put down the top of our oven onto our base. All right, here we go. Line that up. Okay. Now we're going to put down this part. Before I put this down, I'm going to set my cake right here so that my candle is right where I want it. And then I'm going to put my cake in place so that it appears to be sitting right on top of that oven. Or right on top of this counter. Okay? There we go. Put our cake down. And just line it up with the hole. There we go. Now, the only things we have left are we're going to add one of our fun little flames and then our sentiment. And that's how easy it is. Whoops, it's coming out the little handle. There's a little hole for it to hook on the thing, and when I was dumping it, it all fell out into the, well, there we go. Okay, so the little flames that you buy, they're little gems that are shaped like flames, and they come in 3 different sizes. So I'm going to use one of these larger ones, and I'm going to place it right here above the candle. And to do this, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue all around my circle. And I'm going to put that right in place and kind of hold down on it. You do have to let that dry. And you could even use just a little bit of hot glue in there. Okay. All right, and here's the last piece. We're just going to add our sentiment right over here. Yay! Oh boy, I think this is so cute. And I really, I like the kind of retro colors that I chose. I wanted that to have a kind of a retro kitchen look, but I also think that doing it in some other kind of fun kitchen-y colors would be a fun idea. So I do like the addition of the circle. I think that makes it a little easy and now easier to read. And now let's check it out. There we go. Twinkles all around. I love it. Ah, you like it, Shauna? If you've never used twinkle lights, I hope this video showed you how easy it is. You know, back in the day when you had to do your own wire and line it up and all of that, it really, I don't know, I got a little frustrated with it, but Pear Blossom Press has made it so simple. And I've got to tell you that the Whimsy stamps, kind of fun stamps images, there are so many great ideas over in the hop. I was just shocked. There's fireworks, there's confetti, there's like kaboom, like bombs going off that show the twinkle lights. It's just so many fun things. And like I said, I don't know yet what I'm going to say in the inside, but I loved it that this stamp set called Cue the Confetti had this twinkle word in here, and I think that would go perfect with my twinkle lights. And so I'm probably going to say this is your year to twinkle, or leave a little twinkle wherever you go, happy birthday, or I just haven't decided, but I'm definitely going to use this fun word inside. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that if you want to give Twinkle Lights a try, I do have the products listed below my video where you can find the links to purchase any of these items if you don't have them or if you're interested in them. All right, give the video a thumbs up, and I hope you all have a great day. I look forward to crafting with you again next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.